Calvin Harris, and that is We Found Love here on BBC Radio Manchester. It's the Bad Parents Club, and I'm joined in the studio with Lior. I've also got Kieran, and I have as well Tina. We've got the next of our special guests. What a jam-packed show we've got for you today. And it's Natasha Ray. Now, living with bipolar can be hard enough, but when you're a single mum, you've got to look after your child yourself as well. It can be even harder. Now, Natasha Ray is an actress. She's also a single mum, and she's here to tell us about her new book, which she's written, called Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda. Natasha, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a bit more about yourself.
So yeah, I'm a single mum with my little man, Lucky Luciano.
How old is he?
He'll be 9 next week.
Right.
In 14 days. He's told me to say 14 days. He's counting down the days. Yeah. Bless him. He's amazing. He's an old soul. I'm very lucky. We call him Lucky, but I'm the lucky one.
How was it when you were diagnosed with bipolar?
Hard. Very difficult, because the worst of it for me came when Luciano was about 3. When I remember it got to a point where I was just literally like, I was driving through Manchester with my friend and my mum, and I remember just going, I'm not well, I need help, there's something really not right with me. And then it went into a working diagnosis, and then when I was diagnosed, it was that kind of thing, right, okay, I need to figure out what I can do to get myself right, because medication just didn't seem to sit right with me. My first experience really, really put me off. And that's when I was like, okay, let's go to the Buddy Centre in Manchester, tell the poor man on reception my life story and see if they can help me. And that kind of set me on my path of my meditation, my Reiki, my yoga, and that, I feel, is what, for me personally, I feel can keep me quite levelled.
Tell me about living with bipolar.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it? And it's, it's an energy thing for me. So, when I'm going into a low, because I'll get really tired, I'll get really disinterested in things, even to the point where you can be disinterested with your son, which is really difficult. And it brings a lot of guilt. You live with a lot of guilt with it. Just saying to Paul before, it's his birthday coming up and I really want to go to Legoland, but the thought of travelling all that way, I suffer really bad with anxiety, and it's like, God, like, no, and I don't, and you want to do it, and then and then I feel like a really bad mum. So it's more difficult for him, I think, than it is for me, and I think I owe him a lot, because everything I'm doing now, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for him.
I hear you on that, I really do. And I think when you said 3 years ago, when you noticed that you wasn't feeling yourself,
well, that
and
was
you
when
made,
he was 3, sorry.
When he was three,
yeah.
And you made that decision, that conscious decision to go and get help, that was a big thing for you.
I think it got to the point where I couldn't seem to, one minute I was bonding with him, and then the next minute I couldn't. And, it was just from being little, he's been so understanding. Like, I remember I used to, which is in my book, but I'd get in the wardrobe and hide in the wardrobe because I used to get really overwhelmed. And I'd pull the back of my hair because I used to feel like it stopped. It sounds so silly, doesn't it? But it had stopped what was going on in the front of my head because I was
quite common,
focusing on the back.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, it was just literally like to try and stop my mind. And I remember once he got in with Rue, and he was like, I'll sit in with you, Mama. Come on, me and Rue will sit with you. And I felt dead safe. It just, honestly, is unbelievable. If you met him, he is very, very... and he's got an understanding of mental health. And I think in this day and age, it's very important for them to...
How did you explain that to him? Because I was going to ask, does he know about...
He completely understands now. He fully understands, especially with doing the book and stuff. He's had to because, and he understands that it's important that you look after your mental health, and he understands that it's important to talk about how you feel. And he's really proud of this. He was at my book launch, and everything that could have gone wrong with this book could have gone wrong, and all he kept saying is, "Don't give up, don't give up. You can do it."
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's legendary. I love him.
So with your bipolar, sorry for interjecting,
problem.
do you suffer with the highs as well? Or
Yeah,
experience the
so-
highs, I should say.
I mean, it's really difficult because what it used to be for me was that I'd have like really, really, really severe lows, physical pain lows, to the point where I couldn't physically get out of bed. And that started when I was like 14. And then the highs, I think sometimes the highs, people can just like, they'll get 20 phone calls a day off me. You know, I put a book together and published it within 12 months. I don't think you're going to do that if you kind of live in a middle ground. But I had a really bad experience towards the end of 2018, and it put me into my moods where they were changing within a few hours, which then started me off with physical anxiety because my body was going into fight or flight. I generally suffer with the lows more, but I fight it. It's like this morning, some mornings I'm terrified to get out of bed, and I feel like there's this black cloud over me, and I think if I get out of bed, something bad's gonna happen to me, or the weirdest things go through my head. And sometimes I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just jump, get out, as if I'm jumping into a cold. But some days I get up, 5 o'clock, yoga mat, breakfast, in the gym, take on the world, and then other days that it swallows me up. And he has to see that, which is hard. It is hard.
Do you do the meditation and the yoga with you?
Meditate, yeah. He'll chant with me. He chants. I said to him before, why don't you come and do a retreat with me? I'll think about it.
Tell us why you decided to write a book.
We said this before, didn't we? I was like, I don't seem to want to ask me this. I think I'd already wrote it, really. And it sounds really cliche, that, doesn't it? But obviously, because I kept journals, and it is, if you pick the book up, it is like reading somebody's journal, and that's what I wanted. It was a thought that was always there, but I never thought I was academic enough. I can't spell my own name. But it kept niggling at me. Niggling. And I think I got to the point that I was repeating the same patterns, because whether you've got mental health or you've not got mental health, you have issues in life. We've all got past traumas. Do you know what I mean? And I think I just got to a point where I got fed up of doing the same stuff and going back to the same bad men and repeating the same patterns. Okay, let's look at myself and look at Brenda.
Is that what you call her?
I call her Brenda. Yeah, me, myself, and bipolar Brenda. But then I have OCD Doris, anxiety Annie, manic Mandy, and depressed Debbie.
Okay.
And then me.
Does that help you to kind of sort it out in your head as to how you're feeling or what you're doing at certain points? Or
I have to, because otherwise it becomes just you. And when I first got diagnosed, that's where the catch line come from my book. I said to my Reiki teacher, I've heard Reiki's going to really help. Like, I've got, no, I am bipolar. I'm bipolar. And she kept going, no, you're not. No, I am. I'm like, I'm bipolar. She, you're not bipolar. You're Natasha. You have bipolar.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
Because you associate, otherwise you become that name, the title,
And you do, and it's like these labels now. Like, most recently, they've re-diagnosed me at Christmas with borderline personality disorder. And this is a thing that I really want to help people with, is that we're not labels. We're human beings. They're just part of us.
Yeah. My friend suffered with bipolar. Unfortunately, she took her own life last November. Last November she had postpartum psychosis as a result of the bipolar.
Yeah.
And it niggled away, and she then got further diagnosis of personality disorder as well. So it's something I'm really, really
They're very
interested in getting
similar,
to know
aren't they?
more of. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to... She was a long-term friend. She lived down south and we didn't see much of each other, but she was never very open with her bipolar disorder and kept it very much a secret, which I don't think would have helped. when she was struggling with, with her fight.
No,
So I take my hat off to you for being so brave, really, for sharing it, because I know there's so many there's so many negativity around mental health. I mean, I take antidepressants for anxiety, and I have done for 5 years. But even I'm embarrassed to say, hey, I struggle with different issues. But there's so many kind of connotations that are negative that need to be kind of...
I want to make it normal. I want to make it to the point where if people... Not going to swear. If people have the stuff together... Well, what's wrong with you? You all organised and don't, worry about things. And I did a roast it in my book. I'm going to say it. Having a mental illness is normal. And people can be really cruel, and I think, recently what's happened with Caroline Flack really had a massive effect on me. And I'm quite opinionated, and I don't hold back because it's something I'm very passionate about. And it really, really got to me to the point whereas I really wish that everybody could have made a trending before, that it wasn't a death that made a trending, that we could have had a trending before. Because I know that sometimes at Christmas I went into a really, really dark place. But luckily I reached out to people just before I went into that dark hole, and it saved my life. Do you know what I mean?
That,
But then you can't win with it because some people, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, even my close friends have their opinion of what happened at Christmas, which I'm totally fine with. But people look at suicide as if it's just one way. If somebody wants to commit suicide, it's because they want to go. And actually, I don't always think that is the case. I think sometimes it's sometimes you want the pain to stop. And two, you think, actually, I want somebody to help me. I want somebody to stop me from doing this. But I'm worried that if I do, that they're not going to take it seriously and they're going to think that I'm just attention seeking. And I'm glad if every single person at Christmas thought I was an attention seeker, because I'm sat here now because of it. And I'm glad I reached out. And I really wish that she would have, because it's had a huge effect on me, that.
It's hit a nerve with our friendship circle, definitely. Yeah.
Something that you mentioned when you first came in and I was asking you about your journey, you said that you're not happy, but that what you went through was a blessing for you because now you're able to share your story and to help other people.
I think I had a conversation where I have a bit of a meltdown with things. I get overwhelmed with the book and stuff sometimes, and the messages that I get off people, like people that message me that suffer with mental health or have been in bad relationships, or and they're like, you're an inspiration, you're this, you're that. And I think, oh God, like, you don't see me in the mornings when I'm, rolling out of bed and rolling out the door with my pyjama bottoms under me. I was in the gym this morning. I said,
that's normal. I'm a teacher.
Sat in pyjama top underneath my hoodie, and he just looked at me. I was like, I'm just disgusted now. I'm sorry.
You got to the gym. That's really impressive. You know what I mean? It's really impressive.
My trainer, the Hurt Locker, they weren't impressed with me this morning. I was like, I'm not doing squats. It's... If I could have helped one person, then it did its job. So it's done more than what I expected it to do. And it's made people laugh. It's made people cry. It's made people go and get help. It's made people put big, massive statuses on telling people this is what's wrong with me. And actually, I've hid it for years. And that to me is worth more than anything. Because it's like, oh my God, good for you. How good is it to be able to stand up and go, this is who I am, and what? And that's what I wanted to get to, because I was sick of people telling me about myself. Now I'll tell you about me.
Because you mentioned you've got a big, if you can see it, a piece of paper. It says "Do not swear." And then you said as well in your book, you've got swearing in there. Now, to me, I think that's fantastic because I can relate to you if you're talking or putting it on paper how you speak. So That's a great way of putting a book together.
I think you should be completely honest. Why put the pretense on?
And everybody who says that they've read the book is like just speaking to me because I talk as I write. Like my friend who he's had a drama at the BBC, and he said literally sent him bits of journals over, bless him. Just got bits of scraps of journals randomly sent to him. And he said, my spelling's unique.
Do you think you might do an audio book?
Everybody
dulcet
keeps
Manchester tones on there.
Everybody at my launch was saying, oh, please do an audio, please do an audio. And then I get panicky then because I'm like, oh, I don't know how you go about doing an audio, and it was hard enough getting it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Declined my book spine. This time last year I didn't even know what a book spine was. I'd like to do an audio. Because I like listening to audios. I love listening to podcasts. I'm a big fan of like Tara Brach, and I like the Two Shot podcast as well. I like listening to that. Yeah, I'd like to. My friend does radio presenting, and she said, you know what, come to Preston and we'll get it down and we'll do it. But then my head, I'm like, oh, Preston, okay, so right, what train's that? And this is how my head goes. So, but it is on my to-do list.
And where can we get hold of your book? I know you just mentioned your spine. Is it your book spine?
Spine that wasn't the right size.
Is on Amazon. So Amazon's got
Amazon
it.
on Kindle. And people kept saying about they don't have a Kindle, but you can download Kindle app to any like iPhone, Android for free. So you can have it as an ebook, and it's available as paperback, or you can get it off my website, which is Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda.
Fantastic. And social media, are you on there as well?
I'm on social media, so I have my personal Instagram, which is Little Tasha Lucci, and then I'm trying to build up Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda because I just started that obviously with the book, and I'm on Twitter with Natasha Ray. Yeah.
And is there a second book in the works?
I'm living it. I feel like I could write a book about writing a book. To be honest, I feel.
How do you find Twitter? I mean, I've just recently joined. I'm just talking about
Just recently.
I have as well.
Really?
Since I've come here,
I'm a
I
Facebook child back in the day. Now that's now obsolete. But Twitter, there's so much kind of cattiness and attacks. I just wonder where you sit with that. Certainly with like the attacks that people are having with anyone that has a differing opinion.
I live in my own little bubble, me. Do you know what I mean?
Like an echo chamber. Just
And I'm one of
surrounding
those, I always think, I know this sounds funny, but you know the people that don't post a lot? I think they're the nosiest.
I know, yeah. I
That would be me.
yeah. That's kicked off over there.
We'll pull the kettle and it's all kicking off our faces.
You've got to read all the comments and Where did it start? Let me scroll.
Follow everyone. I follow him. He looks interesting.
I just tweet and then that's it, and I don't see the only tweets I probably look at is my friend Kelly Hollis. Like just me and Kelly Hollis having a Twitter conversation. I do prefer Facebook. I have had to have a bit of help from people with social media because I get quite anxious with it. And I think sometimes you can get so caught up with it. And sometimes I have to kind of just go, no, pick a book up and read a book. I did get involved in a bit of a Twitter debate the other day. Is it Matt Haig?
Yes.
Oh, right,
Yeah, I
okay.
got into a bit of a debate the other day. I was a bit annoyed.
Was it? Oh, didn't he get slated by Piers Morgan or
Yeah.
something? And there was this big debacle, and the Piers camp were on the left.
Yeah, and it was literally
Tories were on the right. Nez was in the middle.
Yeah, we was like, next. But I mean, I think it's just a difficult one because I'm a fan of him.
He's a big advocate, isn't he, for mental
Of
health?
course, and I think he's very honest as well. But I mean, Piers, I've never met him, but you know, I can't say anything because he says what he thinks at the end of the day, doesn't he? And I think that's some people.
I think that's a different show talking about it. Completely.
He's just one on his own, isn't he, really? Bless him.
Natasha, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Thank you for coming in. And I cannot wait. I'm going to get onto Amazon and I'm going to get you right book spine and I'm going to read it. So thank you so much. And we, as I said, we are looking forward to continue following your journey as well. BBC Radio Manchester, that is Natasha Ray with her lovely book, which is Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda. Jack Curie, and this is Wait For Me.